Hello, Brandon and I are here. We got our class assignment where we needed to go to Troost and 31st.
Troost and 31st.
We did a little research on that and we found out that it is commonly known as Millionaire's Road, which means that we have to dress up. So I got nice and dressy and it all looks nice and pretty. So we're gonna go and check out Troost and 31st. Brandon promised me that it's Millionaire's Road. Is that what it's called, right?
Millionaire's Row.
Millionaire's Row. Okay.
Yeah. Very
so
fancy.
Going
Very to the
high
nine.
class. Yeah. Very. Yeah. So we're gonna look very nice. Well, we got here, and it's not quite what Brandon assured me it would be.
Well, that was actually in the early 1900s.
The early night. What do you mean?
That, well, Millionaire's Row was in the early 1900s, before a big amount of history that changed it into what it is today, which is somewhat known to be lesser on the socioeconomic side of things than it was about 100 years ago.
Well, probably shouldn't be wearing this then. Better. All right, Brandon, should we find some place to explore?
Yeah, let's find somewhere to park and we can go check out the outworld here.
Sounds good. All right, so we made it. We are just gonna kind of look around a little bit, but first we wanted to talk about this little resource center that we already knew about before coming, called True Light Family Resource Center. Brandon, do you want to tell us a little bit about True Light?
All right, so True Light is a church that is also an organization that is bent on helping the current public that is surrounding them, mostly with their resource center that helps with clothing. They have food and lunches that they help out with for the community, and they even rented a house that is just on the other side of the building, where they let up to 5 women stay a time for up to a year. That just helps them not worry about the finances that come with owning a home, but it allows them the time to get on their feet, get a job, and start building up that that bank that could honestly set them to a better future. So it's a very much of a giving, such a giving group that has just been an impact to this community for the last several years.
Doing some really cool shots with Brandon running across different like arts and walls of paint and stuff, and then we ran into some people that were actually in the process of painting, and this is
Katie Van Dieren.
Katie, say that again?
Mabry Van Dieren.
So she founded this thing called Troost Market Collective,
yeah.
Which basically is the people that are coming and painting the different walls. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure, so what it is these buildings are empty. Everyone that you see that has a mural on it, they've been kind of empty since the 70s, like 40 years almost. There's been a couple businesses in and out, but they're like neglected on the inside, and so they were boarded up while they get fixed, and once they're fixed on the inside, they'll become like a bunch of different businesses. The Troost Market Collective is gonna have different collectives in each one. So for instance, this one Chico's painting might be the Music Collective. So in it, like, we'll have people who wanna like record, all right, or like make beats, and then as a nonprofit, the Troost Market Collective will fundraise to have like the equipment in there for them.
Yeah.
Plus we'll also fundraise for anyone east of Troost that couldn't afford to be part of something like that, to be in the studio for like a year.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's like a mixture of people who can afford to be in there, people who can't, all coming together in different collectives and like
That's so
doing creative
cool.
stuff.
So is there a way that people could get involved and like help out?
Totally. If you go to www.troostmarketcollective.org and follow it on Instagram too.
Cool.
That's where like
And
all
we'll
the
link
mural
that also.
process is. Yeah, so each building with a mural is hopefully going to be part of the collective
That's awesome.
eventually.
Cool. I'm gonna show this one now. We won't have Brandon
This
running
one's by
this one.
Chico Sierra, who is right there finishing.
And this one's by Chica.
Yeah, and everyone who's done a mural, they had kind of a theme of like, what does Troost mean to you, or what do you want to see Troost? What do you want to see come from Troost? So like the one down there that you saw with the girl with her arm up, stepping over Troost, you know, there were like all these other places, like the Kaufman Performing Center and the Plaza have been like, you know, where people go and stuff, but they want Troost to be a place people come again, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that little girl means so much to so many people that is in that painting down there, so. This one was hand chiseled. If
Wow.
you go up close and zoom in on it, he painted it black and then he hand chiseled to expose the wood.
Alright, so we just talked to a really cool lady that gave us a little bit of an insight into some of the history, but Brandon also did some research on it, so he's going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so I found out, as I said earlier in the card, that this being Millionaires Row said a big thing. They had people such as the Rockefellers, people who were working with them on those oil companies who lived in this area, which caused an outburst of like mansions and very big housing that became what was considered a town within the city of KC. It was entirely rich people who were almost outside of the government because of how wealthy they were and because of how close and tight-knit they were. But eventually that all kind of started to feed out as kind of issues with ages changing, and I guess it sucks to say, but when black people moved in, white flight took place and people started moving out, and Troost and this whole area became known as like that segregation line. Borders were even put up in the past that showed that separation of who could live where, and many of the schools took place in segregating in this area, and it's now through all that art that we saw, we've seen that progress and that history that has occurred. The last piece we just saw had the black hand and the white hand shaking hands, showing that in this current age we're kind of getting out of that, but we're still going through a lot of those repercussions that it caused from the segregation that was over 40 years ago. Yeah, so it turns out like some of the only the buildings that are really in use on the street are organizations that are bent on helping people who are in poor conditions, such as Journey to New Life. It is helping with bail bonds, people who are just getting out of jail and how they can afford to help their family members get out of jail or to possibly get tried for parole. Then they have other organizations out here such as RS and Operation Breakthrough, that their emphasis is really just catering to the poor, honestly. So we're surrounded by that, and then several other churches. We've passed by an Orthodox church. There's a Nazarene church down the way that we've all been to, True Light. And it just really shows that this area, how much of it still hasn't really made it. Most of these buildings still have the leftovers from that Millionaires Row that we talked about, just sitting in their attics, just being hoarded and cluttered into one area with a building underneath that is just not in use. No one can afford to use it yet. But it looks like with the stuff that Katie is doing, that they're hoping to kind of break through and make this place thrive again, and that things are currently in the works to make a difference here. But currently all we're left with is this that's behind us. But with the hope of someone like Katie, it looks like there's going to be some big change in hopefully our near future.